Bienvenidos mis estudiantes. A Module 6B, primero tenemos un repaso del vocabulario de Module 6A, las características físicas, las características de la personalidad y las profesiones y más características. So we'll take a look at the physical characteristics, personality traits, and professions, a few more characteristics that had to do with professions that we went over in 6A. Our materia nueva, we'll take a look at sonrisas, el dibujo animado, the cartoon in capítulo 2. We're going to get into our first gramática, gramática útil número 1, the present indicative of regular AR verbs. So we'll be talking about what you do right now. In these early chapters in the book, we talk about present activities. We don't talk about the past, the future, just present tense verbs. And we'll continue with voces de la comunidad, voces del mundo hispano y de los Estados Unidos. So voices of our Spanish-speaking world. Muy bien, ¿cómo se dice tall? Alto, short, bajo, old, viejo, young, joven. ¿Cómo se dice fat? Gordo, thin, delgado, pretty, lindo, handsome, guapo, ugly, feo, small, pequeño, and large, grande. And what do you remember that what happens to the adjectives that end in O when they are used to describe a singular feminine noun or object? They change to A at the end. How about those adjectives like joven and grande that end in N or E? They describe both masculine and singular, masculine and feminine singular. They don't change the endings. Un repaso de los colores del pelo. ¿Cómo se dice he has brown hair? Él tiene el pelo castaño o tiene el pelo moreno. How about black hair? El pelo negro. Blonde hair. El pelo rubio. Take a look at these sentences. Él tiene el pelo rubio. Él es rubio. What is the difference between those two? He has blonde hair. The blonde is describing the word hair in that case, pelo rubio. The second sentence, he is blonde. He is a blonde. So rubio is masculine singular, like él. What happens with our chica? Ella tiene el pelo rubio. Ella es rubia. Ah, look at the difference. Ella tiene el pelo rubio. Rubio is modifying pelo. Masculine singular adjective. Look what happens when rubio is describing her. She is blonde. Changes to the feminine singular rubia. Let's continue. ¿Cómo se dice red hair? El pelo rojo. Take a look at these sentences. Same thing happening here. A little bit of a change. Ella tiene el pelo rojo. Ella es pelirroja. So she has red hair. Red is modifying pelo, masculine singular rojo. Look what happens when we want to say she is a redhead. Pelirroja, a little bit different. The pelirroja is the word for redhead. Needs to be feminine singular. ¿Cómo se dice gray hair? Pelo gris, white hair. El pelo blanco. And we have a couple more modifiers if you want to say, let's see, that someone is very tall or a little bit thin, something like that. We use muy. So, por ejemplo, maybe we could say he has very blonde hair. Él tiene el pelo muy rubio. The dog is very thin. El perro es muy delgado. We might want to say, the dog is a little fat. El perro es un poco gordo. The muy and the un poco go before the adjective. So un poco de práctica. ¿Cómo se dice en español? We have some sentences here to complete. So, ¿cómo se dice en español? I am tall. And the I in this case is a female. Yo soy alta. Adjective changing to the feminine singular, alta. How about you, singular informal, are young? Tú eres joven. We're bringing back the forms of the verb ser. Yo soy, tú eres, él, ella es, etc. ¿Cómo se dice, número 3, he is old? Él es viejo, with the O ending on that adjective. She is thin. Ella es delgada. We need the feminine singular ending on delgado changing to A. Juan has brown hair. Juan tiene el pelo moreno. O Juan tiene el pelo castaño. How about Elena has blonde hair? Elena tiene el pelo rubio. How would we say, número 7, the woman is blonde? This is different now. We're using a form of ser. The woman is blonde. La mujer es rubia. Feminine singular form of that needed because now we're describing the woman, not hair. So we need the feminine singular. ¿Cómo se dice? The man is a redhead. El hombre es pelirrojo. How about the girl is a redhead? What changes here? La chica o la niña es pelirroja. The redhead is now describing the girl. We need the feminine singular. So on we go to un repaso de las características de la personalidad. ¿Me repitan, por favor? Aburrido, activo, antipático, extrovertido, generoso, impaciente, impulsivo, inteligente, mentiroso, responsable, serio, trabajador. On the next screen, call out the Spanish before it disappears. Inteligente, antipático, generoso, trabajador, impaciente, activo, aburrido, serio, impulsivo, mentiroso, responsable, extrovertido. Repitan, por favor. Divertido, interesante, perezoso, simpático, introvertido, tímido, egoísta, paciente, cuidadoso, tonto, sincero, irresponsable, cómico. Ready? Call out the español. Simpático, cómico, tonto, introvertido o tímido, perezoso, irresponsable, egoísta, divertido, interesante, cuidadoso, paciente, sincero. Now see if you can come up with los antónimos, un repaso. ¿Cuál es el opuesto de divertido, interesante? Aburrido. El opuesto de perezoso. Activo. El opuesto de simpático. Antipático. El antónimo por introvertido o tímido. Extrovertido. El opuesto de egoísta. Generoso. Opuesto de paciente. Impaciente. El opuesto de cuidadoso. Impulsivo. De tonto. Inteligente. El opuesto de sincero. Mentiroso. De irresponsable. Responsable. El opuesto de cómico. Serio. Y otro opuesto de perezoso. Trabajador. If you recall, we had un poco más. We talked about some profesiones. Repitan: los políticos, los artistas, los criminales, los actores, los científicos, los doctores, los policías, los estudiantes. And we had un poco más en características. Repitan: sistemáticos, deshonestos, honestos, creativos, curiosos, temperamentales, estudiosos, talentosos. So if I asked you, who are curious? So, ¿quiénes son curiosos? Give me a response to that. Pick one of las profesiones. So, ¿quiénes son sistemáticos? Los científicos son sistemáticos. ¿Quiénes son deshonestos? Los criminales son deshonestos. ¿Quiénes son honestos? Who are honest? Who all are honest? Los políticos son honestos, we hope. ¿Quiénes son creativos? Might be a couple there. Los artistas y los actores son creativos. Muy bien. So mira las características y los gustos and match each description of what the person likes to do with the correct personality trait. Not all traits will be used. Número 1. Liliana es simpática. pero no le gusta conversar con otras personas. Ella es introvertida. Make sure to change that adjective to be feminine singular to match Liliana, to agree with Liliana. Número 2. A Juan no le gusta trabajar. ¿Cómo es Juan? How is Juan like? A complete sentence. Él es perezoso. Número 3. Mi mamá siempre tiene tiempo para escuchar mis problemas y hablar de soluciones. My mom always has time to listen to my problems and talk of solutions. ¿Cómo es ella? Ella es paciente. 4. Ana estudia mucho y siempre hace la tarea. Ana studies a lot and always does her homework. ¿Cómo es ella? Ella es responsable. Número 5. Mi amigo Ramiro practica 3 deportes. ¿Cómo es él? Él es activo. Y finalmente, número 6. A mi padre le gusta mirar televisión mucho. ¿Cómo es él? Él es aburrido. Now let's make it a little more personal. ¿Cómo eres tú? How are you like? Not how are you feeling, not cómo estás, how are you feeling, but ¿cómo eres tú? How are you like? A description. You're going to respond with yo soy. Aquí están los adjetivos. Alto, bajo, viejo, joven, gordo, delgado, lindo, guapo, feo. So one question will be, or one response will be a description. The other will be tengo el pelo y el color. Un poco más, tengo, and give me the number of years you have. Y finalmente, me gusta and no me gusta. Me gusta bailar, no me gusta cantar, por ejemplo. So are you ready? Here we go. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm listening for 4 answers. Give me a brief description. Yo soy, por ejemplo. I'll give you an example. So I'll ask the question, ¿cómo eres tú? And I will answer. Yo soy responsable y simpática. Yo soy alta y linda. Tengo el pelo castaño. Tengo 55 años. Me gusta caminar. No me gusta patinar. Now I'm going to ask you, ¿cómo eres tú? Hopefully you could give a pretty nice description of yourself. And we're going to be moving on in our module to describe others as well and their likes and dislikes. So let's pause for a moment to think about the preguntas y respuestas that you can manage at this point after just a chapter and a half. So pregunta número 1. ¿Qué te gusta hacer y qué no te gusta hacer? So tell me what is pleasing to you to do and what is not pleasing to you to do. Ready? ¿Qué te gusta hacer? ¿Qué no te gusta hacer? ¿Y cómo eres tú? Una descripción. ¿Tú tienes el pelo de qué color? ¿Y cuántos años tienes tú? Finalmente, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Bravo. On we go to sonrisas, our dibujo animado, our little cartoon in el capítulo 2. Sonrisas. So read along. We can read together. Hola, trabajador 7, says the gato. Busco compañero de cuarto. El perro dice, yo también. ¿Cómo eres? Sincero 12. So el gato, the cat, is looking for a roommate, and the dog says, I'm looking for a roommate too. ¿Cómo eres? El gato, yo soy muy activo. Me gusta caminar en el parque. ¿Mentiroso? El perro, yo también soy muy activo. Te invito a conversar en el parque a las 3. So here it is, it's 3 o'clock, a las 3. El perro, pero qué mentiroso eres tú, sincero 12. Tú no eres activo, eres perezoso. Y tampoco eres sincero, neither are you sincero. El gato, en la vida soy sincero. En internet soy mentiroso. Bien, un repaso. Según el gato, according to the cat, ¿cómo es él? How's he like? Es activo. Según el perro, ¿cómo es él? También es activo. En realidad, ¿cómo es el gato y cómo es el perro? En realidad, el gato es perezoso y mentiroso. El perro es activo. Número 4, and this is tu opinión. ¿Tienen consecuencias serias las mentiras del gato? En tu opinión, ¿son sinceras o mentirosas las personas cuando se comunican por internet? Depende. Las consecuencias de las mentiras del gato depends. They might be serious. They might be not be serious, right? Depending on the person who's on the receiving end. And hay personas que son sinceras y otras que son mentirosas en el internet. So word of cuidado en el internet. Muy bien, la gramática útil 1, the present indicative of regular AR verbs, describing what you and others do. So we're moving into the section talking about verbs. And first of all, what is a verb? What does it do in a sentence? The verb is the action of the sentence. We started out this capítulo with vocabulario de actividades. So these are the activities we're moving into talking about. So an infinitive is a verb before it has been conjugated to reflect the person and the tense. For example, bailar is an infinitive. It's the to form of the verb. So bailar means to dance. It is also the form that's found in the dictionary. It's the form before the verb is conjugated. And you can recognize infinitives because they end in AR, ER, or IR. And what happens is, in order to conjugate and to change that verb, you chop off the ending, the AR, ER, or IR, and you're left with something called the stem. And within the stem is the meaning. So if you just saw BAIL, you would know that has to do with dancing. How about if you just saw HABL? It would have to do with talking. If you just saw COCIN, it would have to do with cooking, even though that ending has been chopped off. A conjugated verb is a verb whose endings reflect the person. I, you, he, she, we, you, they. And the ending also reflects the tense, lets you know whether that verb is in the present, the past, the future, etc., various tenses. So for example, bailas, you dance, is a conjugated verb, and the person is you familiar singular. It's the to form. That ending happens to be matching the to form, and it's the present form of the verb bailar. Spanish infinitives, as I just mentioned, end in AR, ER, or IR. For now, you're going to learn to form the present indicative tense of verbs ending in AR. We're just going to work with that batch. Why is that? Well, a couple of reasons. First of all, that's all you've been introduced to in this chapter. If you recognize or think back a second, all of those activities are verbs that end in AR. The other thing is, verbs ending in AR are the most common in the Spanish language, so you're going to learn that first. When you change the form of the verb to match the subject, this is called conjugation. A big part of learning Spanish is learning to conjugate verbs. So let's get into it. Let's see how to conjugate verbs. To form the present indicative tense, talking about doing things right now, of a regular AR verb, you simply remove the AR and you add the following endings. So we're going to use an example. Take the infinitive bailar. Remove the AR ending and you're left with BAIL, which you recall is called the what? The stem or the root. And then you add the appropriate ending to match the subject. This is another one of those agreement things. So let's take a look and see what those endings are. For yo, you start with the stem or root and then you add O. For tú, start with the stem or root and add ellas. For usted, él, or ella, start with the stem or root and then add a. For nosotros or nosotras, for we, start with a stem and add amos. Vosotros, vosotras, you guys, you gals, you guys and gals, you add ais. And this is the only one that's accented with an accent over the A. For ustedes, ellos, or ellas, you start with a stem or root, B-A-I-L, and you add an. So let's just say the endings. We're going to chant them. It goes like this. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. Join me. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. Again. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. Just to get a little bit of a rhythm in your brain so you can try to remember them. To talk about what you don't do, all you do is you put no before the verb. So example, yo no trabajo los domingos. Yo trabajo, yo no trabajo. The no goes in front of the verb. Remember, subject pronouns are not always needed in Spanish. You use them to clarify, add emphasis, or contrast. So if you look at the chart, bailo only goes with which subject? Yo. So if I just looked at you and I said, bailo, I'm saying a full sentence. I'm saying I dance, or I am dancing, or I do dance. There are different ways you can translate that little simple sentence. You don't have to say yo bailo because you know. If you come into a room and I say to you, baila, who am I talking about? It could be usted, it could be él, ella, Paco, Juanita. In that case, if you haven't already spoken about the subject, you may need to add the subject or subject pronoun. In English, we use a variety of structures to express different present tense concepts. In Spanish, many of these are communicated with the same grammatical form. So one thing can mean a variety of different translations. So the present indicative, the current, we're doing these things right now, tense in Spanish can be used to describe routine actions. So here we have an example. Estudias mucho. I'm looking at you and I say, estudias mucho. ¿Qué significa en inglés? You study a lot. The present indicative can be used to say what you are doing. What you are doing. Estudias matemáticas hoy. ¿Qué significa en inglés? And now just put are in there. You are studying. So you can actually have are in there, but you don't use soy, eres, es. You don't use any of the ser forms in there. It's just put in there as a translation without the word actually being in the Spanish sentence. The present indicative is used to ask questions about present events. So, for example, ¿estudias con Enrique todas las semanas? Do you study with Enrique every week? Take a look at the Spanish. There is no literal word in that sentence for do. It's just built into the translation. And finally, the present indicative tense can be used to indicate plans in the immediate future. ¿Estudias con Enrique el viernes? No. You're going to study with Enrique on Friday, right? So notice how the same form in Spanish, estudias, can be translated 4 different ways in English. Another way that I think is easy to grasp this is to say these 5 words. Ready? Repeat them after me. Am, is, are, do, does. Am, is, are, do, does. Am, is, are, do, does. And those words can be built into the translation. So look up above again. You study. You are studying. Do you study? Or you do study. You are going to study. The future tense. So all of those translations are built in without the actual individual words being in the Spanish. Now it's your turn. You can grab a piece of paper if you'd like, or you can just do this as a mental activity. But when you're conjugating verbs and you're writing them, make a chart. 1 line down, 2 across. I call it a double cross chart. So we're going to begin with the verb hablar, to talk or to speak. What do you do first when you're conjugating a verb? Chop, chop. Chop, chop off the AR ending. So we're left with our stem or root in each of these 6 areas of the chart. What do you do next? You look. What do you look at? You look at the subject. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. And then what's the final step? You add. You're going to add the present indicative endings. So, como se dice en español? I talk, I do talk, or I am talking. Yo hablo. You talk, you do talk, you are talking. Tú hablas. You formal speak, he speaks, she speaks, is speaking, do speak. Habla. How about we talk? We are talking, we do talk. Nosotros hablamos. You guys, you guys and gals talk. Vosotros, vosotras habláis. How about y'all talk or they talk? Any group of they, masculine, feminine. Ellos, ellas, ustedes hablan. So a little más información. Remember, as you learned in chapter 1, that you do not need to use the subject pronouns unless the meaning is not clear from the context of the sentence or you wish to clarify, add emphasis, or make a contrast. For example, camino en el parque todos los días. Is that clear? Who's doing the action? Sure. I walk in the park every day. Camino only goes with yo. But yo camino en el parque, pero Lidia camina en el gimnasio. Look at this difference, wanting to add contrast and stress. I walk in the park, but Lidia walks in the gymnasium. So there's an example of using yo because you just want to put some emphasis in your sentence. Let's work a little bit more with these infinitives and conjugations. You may use certain conjugated present tense verbs with infinitives. In other words, you can use 2 verbs, one after the other, together. However, do not use 2 conjugated verbs together. One can be an infinitive and one conjugated. If they're both conjugated, they need to be separated by and, y, but, pero, or, o. Let's look at some examples to make it more tangible. Here we have 2 verbs together. Nosotros necesitamos trabajar el viernes. ¿Qué significa en inglés? We have to work on Fridays. So notice the first verb is conjugated, necesitar is conjugated. The second verb just tags along in the infinitive form, just like it does in English. We have to work. The first one is conjugated, the second just tags along. Look at this sentence now. Los sábados yo trabajo, practico deportes y visito amigos. On Saturdays, I work, practice sports, and visit friends. So these three verbs are all conjugated, but they're separated by commas, or they're separated by and. They could be separated by but or however. Last one, los domingos dejo de trabajar. We'll work with this in a little bit. Bailo, canto, o escucho música. On Sundays, I stop working. I end to work. I sing, I dance, I sing, or I listen to music. So notice that in this usage, Spanish infinitives are often translated into the ing form. I stop working. And we'll get more practice with this. So it's a lot to take in at first altogether, but we'll get more practice. A few more things. To say what you don't do or aren't planning to do, use no before the conjugated verb. No estudio los fines de semana. I don't study on the weekends. A little bit of a review. We just went over that. And número 5, add question marks to turn a present tense sentence into a yes or no question. ¿No estudias los fines de semana? Don't you study on the weekends? And there you go. The don't is in there as a question, but you don't actually see that word in the Spanish. ¿Tienes que estudiar este fin de semana? Do you have to study this weekend? So a simple statement can be made into a question just by intonation and question marks. And keep in mind, am, is, are, do, does are built in to those translations. Now un poco de práctica. Anilu y Sergio. Anilu and Sergio do different things. Say what each of them does and put pero, but, in between to contrast what they do. So let's take a look at this model. The modelo, Anilu, cenar en un restaurante. So we have Anilu, and we need to say that she dines in a restaurant. Then we need to say, but Sergio, and we have cocinar en casa, cooks at home. So remember what forms of the verbs we need. We're using the form that takes el or ella takes. So you chop off the AR endings of these verbs, and what do you add at the end for el or ella? Just a. Bien. So let's go with our examples. Número 1. Ana, bailar, Anilu, bailar, Sergio, levantar pesas. Let me hear you say the sentence. Anilu baila, pero Sergio levanta pesas. Número 2. Trabajar, descansar. Anilu trabaja, pero Sergio descansa. Anilu works, but Sergio rests. Número 3. Tomar un refresco, tomar café. Anilu toma un refresco, pero Sergio toma un café. 4. Estudiar, navegar por internet. Anilu estudia, pero Sergio navega por internet. 5. Alquilar un video, mirar televisión. Anilu alquila un video, pero Sergio mira la televisión. Y finalmente, escuchar música rap, tocar la guitarra. Anilu escucha música rap, pero Sergio toca la guitarra. Un poco más práctica. Aquí tenemos las actividades del capítulo 2, and you see all of our AR verbs. So, ¿cómo se dice en español I lift weights on Saturdays. Remember the lesson that we had that you don't literally translate the word on. You just say, I lift weights the Saturdays. Yo levanto pesas los sábados. 2. Juanita cooks at home on weekends. Juanita cocina en casa los fines de semana. My friend, who happens to be a guy, and I walk a lot. Mi amigo y yo caminamos mucho. Remember, anytime you have y yo, nosotros. Y yo, and I always takes the nosotros form. That group has become we. 4. The students practice sports on Fridays. Los estudiantes practican deportes los viernes. Muy bien. We have other regular AR verbs. They all follow this pattern. So repitan, por favor. Apagar. Apagar. Por ejemplo, apagar la luz, to turn off the light. Repitan, acabar de. Acabar de. Notice that this uses an infinitive afterwards. The expression acabar de can be used with any infinitive after it to say what activity you and others have just completed. Por ejemplo, repitan, por favor. Acabo de llegar. Acabo de llegar. I have just arrived. The second verb tags along in the infinitive, the AR ending, the to form. Repitan, por favor. Acabamos de cenar. Acabamos de cenar. We just ate dinner. Muy bien, let's continue. Repitan. Buscar. Buscar. I like to give the clue. Look for the bus. Look for the car. Look for the bus. Look for the car. Buscar. So I'm looking for my book. Yo busco mi libro. Are you looking for the paper? ¿Buscas tú el papel? Repitan, por favor. Cenar. Cenar. Yo ceno con mi familia. I eat with my family. Ellos cenan en el restaurante. They dine in the restaurant. Not eat, but dine. Repitan, por favor. Comprar. Comprar. I am buying my book. Yo compro mi libro. Are you buying your book? ¿Compras tu libro? Repitan, dejar de. Dejar de. To leave or to stop doing something. Look at the contrast to acabar de, which means to have just finished something, as opposed to leaving or stopping doing something. The expression dejar de can be used with any infinitive to say what activity you and others have just stopped doing. Repitan, por favor, dejo de estudiar. Dejo de estudiar. I stopped studying. I left studying behind. Repitan, dejamos de trabajar. Dejamos de trabajar. We stopped working. Repitan, descansar. Descansar. Yo descanso los fines de semana. I rest on weekends. Repitan, llamar. Llamar. Ella llama a su madre. She calls her mother. Where have you seen llamar before? You saw it in the reflexive. Me llamo, te llamas, como se llama. Call oneself. Call yourself. Call himself. This is llamar, which is an action that's expressed outwardly, not back at yourself. A little bit different. Repitan, por favor, llegar. Llegar. I'm arriving late. Yo llego tarde. She's arriving tomorrow. Ella llega mañana. Mañana also means tomorrow. Hasta mañana. It means morning. Repitan, necesitar. Necesitar. To need. And notice this is often followed by an infinitive. The verb necesitar can be used with any infinitive to say what activity you and others need to do. Por ejemplo, repitan, necesito estudiar. Necesito estudiar. I need to study. Repitan, necesitamos trabajar. Necesitamos trabajar. We need to work. A couple more to continue with. Repitan, pasar. Pasar, which means to pass by or to happen. So, ¿qué pasa? What's happening, por ejemplo? Repitan, preparar. Preparar. To prepare. So we prepare the dinner. Nosotros preparamos la cena. Repitan, regresar. Regresar. I'm returning soon. Yo regreso pronto. They are returning tomorrow. Ellos regresan mañana. Repitan, usar. Usar. I'm using the computer. Yo uso la computadora. And the last one, repitan, viajar. Viajar. To travel. She travels a lot. Ella viaja mucho. So a quick recap, use acabar de plus an infinitive to state what someone has just done. Acabar is conjugated. The infinitive after de is not conjugated. Repitan, ¿acabas de comprar una computadora? Sí, acabo de comprar una Mac. Use dejar de plus an infinitive to talk about stopping an action. Dejar is conjugated. The infinitive after de is never conjugated. Repitan, por favor, dejas de estudiar en diciembre, ¿no? Sí, dejo de estudiar y regreso a casa. So you're stopping studying in December, right? Yes. I'm ending studying and I return home. And finally, use necesitar plus an infinitive to talk about needing to do an action. Necesitar is conjugated. The infinitive after is never conjugated. Repitan. Necesitas viajar en abril, ¿no? Sí, necesito viajar a España. You need to travel in April, right? Yes, I need to travel to Spain. So as they fly by on the next screen, see if you can call out the English before the Spanish disappears. To turn off. To have just done something. To look for. To eat dinner. To buy. To leave, to stop doing something. To rest. To call. To arrive. To need to do something. To pass by or to happen. To prepare. To return. To use. To travel. Now see if you can come up with the Spanish as they fly by. Apagar. Acabar de. Buscar. Cenar. Comprar. Dejar de. Descansar. Llamar. Llegar. Necesitar. Pasar. Preparar. Regresar. Usar. Viajar. Un poco de práctica. Beto describes his day in an email to a friend. Complete his description with the correct form of the verb in parentheses. So as I read along, I'll pause, and all of these are going to be in the yo form because Beto's describing his day. A las 7 de la mañana, camino a la universidad. At 7 in the morning, I walk to the university. Go ahead with the next one. Llego a las 7:30. I arrive at 7:30. Si tengo tiempo, if I have time, estudio un poco antes de las clases. I study a little before classes. A veces, necesito comprar unos libros. At times, I need to buy some books. Go ahead. Compro los libros en la librería. I buy the books in the bookstore. Generalmente, ceno en la cafetería. Generally, I dine in the cafeteria. Después, paso por un café y tomo un café o té. So later I go by, pass by for a coffee, and I have a coffee, take in a coffee or tea. Go ahead with the next one. Regreso al dormitorio a las 7 de la noche. I return to the dorm at 7 at night. Next, próximo. Hablo con mis amigos por teléfono o navego por internet. I talk with my friends by phone or I surf the net. Now let's change it up a little bit. Practice with new subjects, changing the conjugations to match. A las 7 de la mañana yo camino a la universidad. Mi amigo llega a las 7:30. Si tengo tiempo, nosotros estudiamos un poco antes de las clases. A veces él necesita comprar unos libros. Yo compro los libros en la librería. Generalmente él y yo cenamos en la cafetería. Después yo paso por un café y Ana y yo tomamos un café o un té. Ana regresa al dormitorio a las 7 de la noche. Ella habla con amigos por teléfono o ella navega por internet. So we're going to add one piece on here, los fines de semana. What do you generally do on the weekends? First, there's a little chart we're going to take a look at. And you're not going to compare your list to classmates. This is an activity you're actually going to do for practice, but we're just going to set it up here so that you can get an idea of what you're doing. So let's take a look here. We have cuando, when. We have what you're doing, and then you're going to just make up two friends, amigo uno and amigo dos. So, por ejemplo, we have viernes por la noche, Friday in the evening, during the night. Yo descanso en casa. And then you need to make up a couple of answers for amigo or amiga uno and dos. So here's what it'll look like. Los viernes por la noche, generally, descanso en casa. That's your yo answer. Now let's pick your friend Eduardo. Mi amigo Eduardo, generalmente, and pick an actividad, cena con amigos. dines with friends. Now let's pick amigo or amiga dos. Mi amiga Flora generalmente regresa a Buffalo. She returns to Buffalo on Fridays. So I'll just have you do a couple of examples here. Let's just take a look at our various times. Repitan, por favor. Viernes por la noche. Sábado por la mañana. Saturday during the morning. Repitan. Sábado por la tarde. Saturday during the afternoon. Repitan. Sábado por la noche. Saturday during the night. Repitan. Domingo por la mañana. Sunday during the morning. Repitan. Domingo por la tarde. Sunday during the afternoon. And here are new activities we just learned. Here's the modelo. And I'm just going to ask you 3 questions. Well, I'll ask you one. I want you to make up some answers for your friends, okay? So I'll ask you, ¿qué haces? What do you do? Sábado por la tarde. Sábado por la tarde. So take a look and figure out one of those things. Make it up. Something that you would do Saturday in the afternoons. So I'll give you an example. Los sábados por la tarde, generalmente yo uso la computadora. ¿Y tú? ¿Qué haces los sábados por la tarde? Now let's make up something for your friend Eduardo. ¿Qué hace Eduardo domingo por la noche? Now tell me, my friend Eduardo generally does what? Domingo por la noche. Mi amigo Eduardo generalmente, generalmente descansa los domingos por la noche. Just a little practice because you're going to have that in one of your actividades. Bueno, la parte final de este módulo 6B, Voces de la Comunidad. And we're going to set this up really for your La Práctica. And the first one is the video that you're going to be viewing of voices from the Spanish-speaking world. Voces de la Comunidad, Voces del Mundo Hispano. Going into our section here with voices from the Spanish-speaking world. In the video segment that you're going to see for your practice, the speakers say where their families are from and talk about their personalities and pastimes, things that you're learning in Capítulo 2. So let's take a look at the statements below. And then when you watch the video, and watch it as many times as you need, you can click on the Spanish subtitles. It won't show you the English, but you can watch the Spanish, you can pause it. And you're going to say whether the statements are cierto, true, or falso, false. So let's make sure that you understand las frases. Número 1, la mamá de Nicole es de Guatemala. So listen and see if Nicole's la madre is de Guatemala. Número 2, el papá de Liana es de la República Dominicana. Escucha bien and see what Liliana says about su padre. Número 3, según Inés, according to Inés, ella es activa, extrovertida y feliz. So escucha bien and see if that is cierto o falso. 4, según los amigos y familiares de Inés, ella es alegre, cuidadosa y tímida. So according to other people in her life, what do they think of Inés? What are their descriptions? 5, a Constanza le gusta caminar. Is that cierto o falso that that's something that's pleasing to her to do? And 6, a Jessica y a Ana les gusta leer. Escucha bien, cierto o falso. And as in Capítulo 1, sometimes it goes past people and you're wondering, oh, who was that? I can't remember their name. So take a screenshot of this if you'd like. Nicole, Inés, Liana, Constanza, Ana, en Jessica. So you're looking for información de estas 6 mujeres. So take a little screenshot of this, and it'll help you as you're listening to the video to identify las mujeres. Y ahora, voces de Estados Unidos. Isabel Valdez, ejecutiva y autora. And this is what Isabel Valdez says. Hispanics are becoming more and more entrenched in American society, and we are all well aware of that. Their participation is reflected in the growing number of Hispanic associations, libraries, research centers, and businesses throughout the United States. Furthermore, Hispanics are increasingly active in government at the federal, state, county, and city levels. They have also made significant contributions to American art, theater, literature, film, music, and sports. See what you can understand. You can pause and look up words if needed, but see if you get the general idea. Isabel Valdez es responsable de muchas campañas publicitarias en español en Estados Unidos y Latinoamérica. Entre sus clientes hay firmas tales como PepsiCo y Frito-Lay. Esta chilena estadounidense es autora de 4 libros sobre el mercado hispano en Estados Unidos. Es además la directora de IBC, una empresa consultora que ofrece servicios estratégicos a compañías para llegar a consumidores multiculturales en EEUU y los mercados globales. Valdez dedica mucho tiempo al trabajo voluntario para ayudar a varias organizaciones, entre ellas the National Council of La Raza y the Latino Community Foundation. So you're going to have this question to answer and think about, reflect about for your práctica. What are your interests? ¿Y tú? Do you identify yourself as part of a market segment? Are you in a certain group that sways politics, that sways markets? If so, which ones? Which groups are you a part of? Excelente, es el fin de Module 6B. Buen trabajo y hasta pronto.